Okay, hello. Hope you are well. Our class 4 implies revision of the psychology as a science, as approach, as theory, and as field. So, if you think about psychology as a science, we may speak about pure psychology as a theory, and applied psychology as a practical application of all the theory. When people speak about approaches that are applied to psychology, so approach may be process focused or person focused. So, process focused approach works with the theory of behaviorists, so behavior as a process, yeah, and the mental processes in cognitive psychology. When we have theories, psychodynamic, humanistic, social constructivist, a person is in the focus. So, person based approach is applied in theories of psychodynamic psychology, humanistic psychology, and social constructivism, like personality as the highest value. Fields. Speaking about the fields of psychology, they define biopsychology, yeah, behavior and biopsychology, and neuropsychology. Neuropsychology, when there are some processes that take place in the brain, they they call it neuropsychology. Fields in the applied, person oriented psychology include social, developmental, or educational, forensic, organizational, or occupational, and clinical. I hope that was helpful for you, and you will be able to answer the following questions when you look at the pictures. There are four pictures, and the first answer is like which field of psychology are commonly practiced in everyday life? Um, which field of psychology are commonly practiced in everyday life? Like, I believe clinical psychology is very popular, but also we may suggest that educational psychology is developing very fast. Yeah, why not? Developmental psychology, in other words, yeah. Here we have got this example, like a person is interviewed for a job, and that would be occupational psychology. Then the researcher works with mice, yeah, and they investigate some processes that take place in their brain, maybe their bodies, and that would be probably neurobiopsychology. We're not so sure about that. And the last picture, criminal prisoner is interviewed, yeah, and forensic psychologist analyzes his answers, building up her theories about his criminal mind and his criminal behavior. What field of psychology is shown in each picture? We have named them, and like probably we may suggest like every branch of psychology depicted here is very commonly practiced in everyday life. What else do these psychologists do? So, speaking about the educational psychologists, what else do they do? They make some learner needs tests. Yes, they work with the challenging challenges in learning. They works with inclusion in education, with some processes that promote learning outcomes. They write a lot of recommendations for the teachers, schools, curricula. Like we may continue, yeah. What about that lady that interviews? No, the lady for a job. position. So what do? They recruit people for different jobs. Yeah, they work with governing, managing process. They work with the managerial decisions taking, uh, with the professional stress, with the professional burnout. When people burn out because of their jobs, because of some duties at their jobs, routines. Yeah. They advertise, they explore the advertising market, explore different strategies, they explore different personal parameters to find out which kind of personality fits best for this or that position. Well, biopsychology or neuropsychology, what do? They look for some explanations, like how this or that pattern of behavior, yeah, how can it be connected to the physical, chemical changes in the bodies of these mice, yeah, of the participants in the research, or like what are the reports of stimuli and reaction. Well, I'm not so strong about that. I hope you understand it's much better than me. Um, and the final picture, forensic psychology. Forensic psychology. So, what do they do? What else do they do apart from interviewing? They profile. They profile criminals. They profile the perpetrator. Um, like they profile the possible habits, possible mm, possible character features of the criminals. Yeah, like they try to make a portrait, a psychological portrait of criminal in order to find them easier, faster. um, what else do they do? They may be experts in the court. Yeah, they may witness in the court as experts in in criminal, like in forensic psychology. Yeah, that's it. I believe it's not so pleasant to witness in the court, like in this role. Which field belongs strictly to the process approach. So it's very easy because here we have that person oriented, and there are the processes. Processes are studied on animals, also on human beings, like, but they involve a bigger number of participants to explore the process. Think about the famous experiments that involved human beings, where they tried to find out like free will, freedom of choice concepts, also human tendency to control, to abuse, to what else? To punish. There was some famous experiments. There were some famous experiments. I'm sorry. Well, I'm thinking about particular one. Think about the scientists and about the ideas they try to explore. Would you like to do any of these experiments? Um, well, at this class, you'll do a reading research. So before you start your reading, Think of the research question. It may sound like, what must I look out from my research? What useful information will I get from reading this text? In other words, yeah? You may look at the headings, subheadings, illustrations, like any resources, any like a script, for example, bold script, italic script, like information may be highlighted and its value like increases, yeah, because they want to draw your attention to some parts of that information. They recommend you while you are reading to highlight topic sentences. I remind you that topic sentence is the first sentence in the paragraph. Also, good to think which paragraphs will probably give you the answer to your research questions. Some paragraphs may be more informative than others, so that's good to read them first. Make notes if you feel like making notes. Remember that information if you have got good memory skills. After reading, think, did the text answer all your research questions? Like you might make some research questions, not very primitive, like I suggested. What must I find out from my research, or what information will I get from reading this text? Like looking at the heading, you are free to make any research questions, like any suggestions. Yeah. And think whether the text answered your research questions. If the answer is no, look at the other paragraphs to see that information maybe that's there in the other paragraphs. Um, Also, that's a very good skill. That's a very good skill if you use information, if you know how to work with the information. That's great because, people very often they don't know how to deal with the information, so they recommend you to use the topic sentence. Like already you have got the answer, like, but you don't know that you have got that answer because like the answer is in the text always, yeah. Like you should locate the topic sentence, like choose, find it, yeah, paraphrase them, try to paraphrase, try to change that formation in other words, rewrite them, but keep the meaning the same. Just don't simply copy them. That's too primitive. It's a kind of a form of plagiarism. That would be great if you add some supporting information, but once again, in your own words. So, topic sentence, for example, an alternative method of classifying psychology is by its major theories. Yeah, alternative method of classifying psychology is by its major theories. Like we may think like psychology could be classified according to its main theories. Yeah, they suggest a bit elaborated formulation, like psychology can be divided into several important theories. Like, sounds much more sophisticated. Supporting information and examples. Behaviorists and cognitivists explain behavior by analyzing mental processes, whereas Freudians, humanists, and social constructivists are more concerned with exploring behavior through the personality. So, as I mentioned before, processes, yeah, process focused theories and personality focused theories. Check your summary, check that the ideas flow logically. That's great if you have got that skill to build up logical ideas. Check the spelling and grammar, of course. If your summary is short, it may be just one paragraph. Why not? Divide the longest summary into paragraphs to increase its readability. Yeah. So practically we start working with this text. Uh, they suggest you to look at the topic sentences from the text and answer some questions. So, to the right, you have got the topic sentences, the first sentences of every paragraph. Yeah. So, look at them and try to answer question one. Which ways of classifying the psychology are described in the text? If you look through these topic sentences, probably you will stop at the last three, um, as well as being classified as a science. Psychology can be divided into two main approaches. Yeah, that's about ways of classifying. Alternative method of classifying psychology, that's also about ways of classifying. And the last one, psychology can also be divided into its applied fields. That's about classification. The last three, where might you find the answers to each question in the university assignment below? Yeah, like a question in the question. So the assignment, do some research into different ways of classifying psychology. We have done it. Thank you. Make notes to answer these questions. Oh my god, like making notes. Make notes. If you feel like making notes, why not to make notes? So, the question one, what ways can psychology be classified? Oh my god, like repeating once again, like it feels like deja vu. Yeah, let's omit this question. What is the problem with this classification? Yeah, that's always there is some problem with everything. Yeah, and in this case with classification they have got a problem because psychology is such a wide discipline and it can be classified in variety of ways. Like problem one, and I would look at the third topic sentence because, like, although psychology may be classified as a pure science, it can be an applied science. Like, again, some contrast. Yeah, so it could be problematic. So this is the example of the work how to do it with the topic sentences. So you explore the topic sentences. You explore the information from the topic sentences before reading the whole text. Just first sentences from every paragraph. That would be wise. The next slide, I provided for you a link to this text. Also, it's on the page 17 in your uh, books. You have downloaded the books, I hope. And when you read the text, it's quite a big one. It's on like a one-page size text, and you will read it. You will use this link, or you will use your book, and here are the words from this text. After you read this text, you may work with this vocabulary. Find in the text the words that go together with the words from the box. Okay, so you are supposed to look at the text and to find this vocabulary, these words like foundation. Look at the text, read it, and look at the text and find the word foundation. What words goes? What word goes together with this word foundation? You are supposed to find that collocation. The next question, do they make noun or verb phrase? So would it answer like a what question or what do they do question? And what is the meaning of each phrase? Like you are to explain that. I will try to demonstrate that, of course. Um, So I have to change the excess. I guess. I guess it's not so easy. Well, you will use this link. I cannot use it because the record will be stopped. So, mm, well, I believe it's not so difficult. Take the text, read it, look for these words in the text, write out the collocation, like foundation. You will find it like to lay foundation. Yeah, to lay foundation. That would mean what? That would mean establish, to establish something, to set up, to set up. Yeah. Uh, let's take another example. Socio-historic. 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 It goes like I have this text. Yes. And I remember like socio-historic, that was like a socio-historic context. Good, good memory. So socio-historic context. That's about what? That's about social and historical conditions of some process. Yeah. Pure. Well, probably pure. That was about pure science. Pure science, like that. That's very easy. Pure science. How would you explain that? I would explain that as a theory. Theory. Pure science. That's always about theory. So, question two. Do they make noun or verb phrase? To lay foundation. That's a verb phrase. What is the meaning? To establish, to set up. So, social historic context. That's a noun phrase because, I ask, what? Social historic context. Pure science. What? Pure science. That would be again noun phrase. If you are not so strong about grammar, just don't be upset because, like, maybe you have got some other talents. So, what is the meaning? You may use the context if you are smart. You may use the dictionary if you are smart. Like, you may ask someone if you are communicative. So, use your talents. Yeah. So, actually, this is your home task. This is your home task, not any previous task. So do not write me some extra exercises for every slide. No, please, no, stop it. Just the last two slides, this one and the next one. I mean, this. Read the text, answer the questions. So again, use this link, open it. I'm not going to open because I will lose my connection with the recorder. And you got some other vocabulary from this text. They ask you what is the base word in each case. Base word, like what is the root? I mean, I did this job with my son. He worked with Ukrainian language and he hates grammar. And you are supposed to do it with English words and with English grammar. So, what is the base word? I believe classified, adjective classified. We may give here some abbreviation. Adjective. Yeah. And the base word for this adjective, it's from the text. Classified, practical, deprivation, subjective, validity, unconscious, determinism. If you use the dictionary or use your mind, uh, you will find out that classify a verb is the base word for classified. Yeah. What part of speech is the base word? It's a verb. Does the prefix, suffix, the prefix, suffix, so here we have got this ed ending. If we use ed ending with the verb, we will get an adjective. If you have got a verb and you want to turn it into an adjective, you can use this ed ending, and you will have in Ukrainian it sounds as дієприкметник минулого часу, класифікований. Yeah, you may use that way. So you may use this suffix ending and change it into the other part of speech. Does it change this word in other part of speech? Yes, of course it does. How does the prefix suffix change the meaning of the base word? Does it change the meaning of the word? Classified, yeah, like adjective, and classify. Like in this case, it doesn't change the general meaning of the word. Practical, again, an adjective. Adjective. So, what would be the base word? Practice, yeah, like noun, practice, noun. Like, is this like, do they have the same root, the same meaning? Yes, of course. That's about some practical application. About what? About some. mm, yeah, that's about practical application. So, what does it doesn't need any explanation. Um, which which words do we have that the prefix suffix change their meaning? If you look at the word unconscious, we have got the prefix on, yeah? Of course, it changes the meaning of this base word because the base word would be conscious. And if you use the prefix on, that would make a kind of negation, like a opposite meaning. So in this case, it would change the meaning of the base word. Um, but if you look at the question two and the same word unconscious, like I have to write again for you not to lose the line. Base word conscious. It's adjective, and this one is also adjective. Yeah, like we have got the meaning, the change in meaning, but we do not have the change of the part of speech. This and that, they are adjectives. So in some cases, prefixes, suffixes change the meaning. In other cases, they change the part of speech. Yeah, be careful with that. So the last two slides, that is your home task. And read the text. You do not have like you don't have to make any written translation of the text and send me. You do not have to do any extra job with the text. Just read it and try to understand. And do the task with the vocabulary from the text. Yes, learn this vocabulary, of course. And this one. And that's it for today. I will ask you some questions with this text, but like probably I will give you the key vocabulary to get ready to the test. Yeah, you will have the test, unit 2 test, not on Tuesday, like some other day. Okay. So I believe that's enough for you. The lesson wasn't so stressful as it usually is. Thank you for your attention. Write to me if you have any further questions.